everybody, and welcome back to map number 2. ENCE taking on Fnatic on Mirage. We are ready to rumble with what could be the final map. ENCE on the verge of victory if they can just take this one here. If not, we'll be heading over to Inferno. My name is Mitch. Alongside myself for this wonderful series is none other than the beautiful Dean Brown. And Dean, what do you make of ENCE's chances coming into this one?
I mean, if they can get off to a good start, who knows? It's definitely possible. We've seen them get that previous map despite losing both pistols, but I do think this is definitely going to be one that favors Fnatic. Right now, though, ENCE, I like that they've gone for this aggression. They've pushed one player straight through ramp. That's Ariel, who's already flanking behind the top of mid very, very early on in the round. The question is, will he make it in time to actually get a lot of impact? I believe that's the bomb he was tapping away at. Actually, indeed, dropping the bomb around. Delpan, Sunny going to be able to pop out and take JW under the window. And with a couple of kills having come in elsewhere in the meantime as well, suddenly it's all on Flushy. He's left lurking over towards A. I believe he was just chilling in Palace, waiting to see what he could find. I think they were trying to get maybe one up in the window and split on towards the A bomb site. But as I said, that flank just completely decimating them. As soon as the bomb was dropped, the other players all had to try and turn their attention, go back and retrieve it, and everyone from ENCE just swung in through mid. Oh, and Flusha. He had a nice chance there to maybe try and catch one off guard, but gets absolutely wrecked by Sergey.
ENCE being off to a good start here is going to boost up that morale a little bit. Remember, the previous map was close, but at the end of the day, Fnatic choked in it towards the end. We saw them with certainly a poor first half, 4 rounds on the board by the end of their CT side. And now coming into the attack here, we want to see them with the same flourish that they had on Dust 2 for at least the majority of that second half. ENCE, though, should be shutting them down in their tracks here. Just a few pistols for Fnatic. They've got a Deagle, everyone else on Glocks. And so realistically, especially with 4 M4s, ENCE have even future-proofed themselves here. X7's the only one I'd expect to go super aggressive. They shut down that mid attempt very, very quickly.
I mean, that's pretty much as expected. We didn't think anything was going to be found there from Fnatic. They didn't have any investment. It's only now that they actually pull out the rifles. And this is where you need to see them getting going early on. Because as I said, back on the previous map, we actually seen them win both of the pistol rounds. With that, we've seen them getting off to a relatively decent start in both halves. Obviously, not really the first one. I mean, they went up 2-0 and then kind of got the stride for a little while. But ENCE, of course, now having actually the chance to get the economy going early, not be the ones who have to fight back in on the first gun round. They can just try and build up a very strong lead here in the beginning. But the rifles for Fnatic trying to work out towards mid. They have a bit of utility, and for the moment, I mean, ENCE can't really challenge this too aggressively. It's only Sunny who's trying to stick around towards window. Unfortunately, gets dropped by JW, and with that, Alu, who was also considering having a little bit of a peek out at connectors, realized that he can't really afford to stick around. At this point, Fnatic getting themselves both a man advantage and also this mid control. They've set themselves up in a great position for this A split, which seems to be the goal.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the players in on the ramp and Palace as JW picks up a second opening. Prinz gets challenged. Sergey had to try to seize a bit of map control. He couldn't stand out there in the open on Palace, but not a lot done. And with that, an MP9 to retake, not ideal, and that's going to be all they've got left to work with. X7 in a pretty difficult 1v5, arguably, despite the low HP of Prims and Flusha. And just sitting down in the kitchen, hoping he gets hunted a little bit. He'd love to pick up a kill, hopefully carry a rifle forward, but even that is going to be quite difficult to do. The players that are hunting... Actually, no, the players that are hunting him are low. Flusha is the one furthest aggressive up there moving into kitchen, and he's 34 HP, so X7 would shred him to pieces.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, Fnatic really don't want to be losing any of these weapons. It's not too worthwhile. Obviously, they don't know exactly what X7 has at this point. They don't know that it's just an MP9, not a rifle or whatever. But they're giving him a chance. Oh, he's going to go for the knife. Is he going to be spotted? Apparently not. Doesn't realize there's a player towards Van at this point. Yeah, Flush it and creep past, so unfortunately not able to save his weapon, but he gets a knife kill. I mean, it's a nice little boost of economy. Unfortunately, still not enough to give them the full buy in this round. So most likely we're going to see the half investment come in here, maybe some pistols and such, but okay, now they're going to go for it. I mean, X7 dropped an up over to Alu, takes a Mag 7 for himself. They have an MP9 again coming out as a little bit of a weakness, and then a couple of rifles. I mean, this could be a lot better. They have the one kit, at least nades are okay on a few players. But this is risky. If this one doesn't work out, then there is a chance for Fnatic to try and snatch away that lead. But Alu did find a quick opening. Despite going down quickly, at least the weapon, of course, being retrieved by Sergey as well, so the op is still in play. So that's not a bad find early on, considering, of course, I mean, they have the weaker weapons. Being able to trade it to a 4-on-4 just make it a little bit easier.
Look at Ariel's aggression and underpass. He's caught one. Crims goes down. B's now clear, and they're going to spot that out. Ariel continues to progress, and that info should be communicated now. Although we're not seeing anybody rotating too fast. X7 just continues to push forward, although having a Mag 7. He obviously wants a little bit of an upgrade. He'll hold down in the apartments while Ariel starts to rotate in towards at least kitchen to be on a faster swing into the A bomb site. Sunny, I think, has heard steps coming out of the ramp, and as the shot rings out, he looks to Palace, catches Golden, flushes low, and naded to death. JW in a 1v4. He's been pretty successful at opening up, but seems like again and again we're seeing him in this series in 1v4s or 1v5s, yet to get one on the board successfully, and they've left the bomb in T-spawn, which obviously doesn't help a whole bunch.
Yeah, there's absolutely zero we can do unless serious mistakes are made by ENCE. They'll just kind of start rushing him and such. So he's just chilling in connector at this point. If he's not given a kill within the next couple of seconds, really, I guess the goal at that point would be to save. It's a little bit risky. I mean, he knows obviously ENCE don't have too much money themselves, so there's a good chance that they won't really try and expend too much time and effort actually trying to hunt them down, because they ideally want to try and keep the 4 alive that they have right now, just so they can start building up a little bit of money, so they can drop over to Alu. Obviously, he'll probably get the op off Sergey, and then Sergey will be able to reinvest himself into the rifle and nades. So indeed, JW will be able to carry on over with his AK. With that now, he can drop over to Crims or Golden, who are both a little bit low on money. You'd imagine it'll go to Crims. He could buy for himself again. Brolin and Flusha can also afford. Golden could go for maybe a Galil, get some utility out as well. So this can still be a very, very strong buy for Fnatic overall. But again, it does kind of give that opportunity back towards ENCE, where they are now the ones, of course, who can try and really start building up a very strong lead if they are able to get this round. With that, they'd be able to put Fnatic down onto an eco for sure, unless again some weapons are saved over. But it is pretty much the same vice versa, where ENCE obviously haven't really built up too much money themselves, because they had to buy all the nades in this round. As we said, they had like none in the last round, even in the beginning.
There's definitely some challenges coming. If ENCE manage to lose the round, then things do get shaky. The boost up in the apartments immediately doesn't spot anybody, so they know that, at least for now, B is clear. They push on forward to confirm that. We've seen in Palace by Sergey either. Fnatic just playing again, this one quite slowly. They like to run down that first minute or so, but at least for a moment they were favoring in towards A. I think Brolin just going back to throw over smoke, and then he'll go rejoin his teammates as they look to split out. They've had success here in the past, although the previous round, obviously, they got slowed down a little bit. But they lost their mid and their B control. I think that was, well, a huge issue for them. They're running into A players that know they're coming. The utility was used up. Now with 40 seconds left, they'll 4-man push out with a late underpass split. A lot of danger for the A players. There's still smokes in play for Fnatic, which should be coming over. Although they're just dry peeking all the angles. Flashes through. Sunny's away. He's away in the brain. Just staring out a connector and gets domed in the side.
Yeah, but I was going to say, Ariel had just been hiding in the back of the bomb site the entire time. How the hell is he able to get Golden? I have no idea how he didn't go down. Fortunately, Brolin eventually comes through with a nade to finish him off. But this has actually given some hope to Alu. I mean, this is a 1-on-2, a much more winnable position than it was just a few moments ago. Unfortunately, not able to actually flush that connector player with the Molotov, who was up on the close left side rather than the right. We did also see one player in jungle who's now just dropped the round into connector as well, so that they can play the time on the bomb. And Alu realizing he doesn't have a kit, is like, okay, I can't do anything about this. But that was a nice effort from Ariel for sure. But overall, Fnatic taking the bomb site, taking the round, and probably forcing ENCE onto the eco in this next one. I mean, again, though, in a tough spot because they have X7 and Sergey, who kind of are on the double eco. They wouldn't really be able to buy in this next round either way, so they may consider the force buy just around the upper again. But it's not going to be all that great. I mean, wouldn't really have any rifles unless Sunny was maybe willing to drop one over to a teammate who could get Kevlar and perhaps take a pistol or something in return. So, I mean, it's one that they definitely are considering. And yeah, I think they're going to just go for the eco. I mean, they'll get 1900 in the next round. Sergey, as I said, and X7 both will be a little bit low, but maybe they could go for slightly weaker weapons, get the nades and such out anyway. But we should be seeing Fnatic off the back of this taking themselves a third round, unless Alu can pull off something miraculous, and he is being boosted up on short, so perhaps he can catch one off guard, but no, Brolin expects it. I'm not even sure if he could spot him. Either way, just spamming through and getting the headshot.
And the opposite lead's going to be carried over by Ariel to try and do some more damage later on in the round. Goes up into the apartments. He'll get a challenge on a JW in just a second. Good connection. There's a rifle to be picked up by his buddy ENCE. But I think we might just be saving those two, as ENCE are in a bit of trouble on the A site. Sergey all by himself with the USP. Maybe if he had an M4, he could have made it work for an epic play, but this time it's just going to be a bomb plant for Fnatic, and with an AWP, with an AK, no armor, no kits. I think it's probably time to save these. Just play that nice and safe. Ariel's got the idea, although X7 is sticking around to play some exits on middle.
Surprisingly. Very, very surprisingly, because as I said, I mean, there is two players who can't afford to buy perfectly in this next round, and X7 is one of them. So if he gets this AK, that is a massive help. I mean, rather than at that point being stuck on maybe a UMP or some sort of SMG, maybe a FAMAS, and just a few nades. Instead, you'll get the AK, you can add Kevlar to it. He has a flash there already, so he can probably get a full set of nades, maybe a kit behind it as well. And at that point, of course, only leave really one player on a weaker weapon in this next round. So indeed, oh, it was looking like he was going to save it. I didn't realize Flush It had just actually wrapped all the way around through spawn. Fortunately, they do at least save the up, so I mean, it gives them a little bit extra. Alu with that drops over a rifle to Sergey. X7 is like, oh, okay, I'll buy for myself. He was so close to having an AK, and now he's on an MP9. That must be sad.
Just seconds away as well.
I see people asking for the custom player crosshairs. I don't think that would be a good idea. Some of them probably have crazy crosshairs. Wouldn't look great on stream. Also, different resolutions. That's the thing with crosshairs. People use crosshairs, then they look different on different resolutions. Ooh.
Fnatic with an early push down mid. Look at the position Brawlin's in. He almost got Ariel mollied out. No spray behind, though, so Ariel's safe to bail out, just losing a lick of HP.
I'm surprised Brolin didn't just run through the smoke. He's been loving that so far.
Yeah, maybe a little bit risky this time. Didn't want to take the chance. Especially not with the financial position of ENCE. Giving away this round is giving away a second as well, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I just meant by how he has been playing so far. We've seen on Dust 2, he was just running through smokes and killing everyone. It was crazy. Not implying it would have been a good idea. Definitely wouldn't have. But right now they're taking it slow. I mean, they've got this mid control, so they're not really pressured too much. They're waiting to see events, maybe try and take a peek around mid to see what's going on. Maybe they can capitalize on that finding and opening, and then with that commit towards a bomb site. For now, though, they definitely are focused on A, obviously, leaving just that one player who's pushed up a little bit towards the B apartments to maybe try and sell out a little bit of a fake. For now, though, JW isn't really making any noise, I don't believe. So I think his goal maybe more so once some pressure shown towards A, perhaps try and peek out, see if he can kill that rotator and just make things a lot more difficult in general. But now, indeed, he is beginning to throw some Molotovs down, having been spotted by X7 and at this point mollied off as well. He really can't do too much anymore. I think they realize it is probably just that one player. They haven't pulled any rotations from that A bomb site, leaving still ENCE in a pretty decent position to hold this down. The issue is now it's actually all on Ariel, and he's been mollied off on the ramp as well. Brolin, though, tries to go forward, immediately being dropped. Alu gets one elsewhere, and suddenly it's all on Crims, and even then he's stuck out in the open, so nothing to be done.
Nice and cleanly done by ENCE, moving back in there. And Fnatic, like we said, not going to be happy giving that one away. This, especially with 4 players left alive, puts ENCE in a really good position to future-proof this economy. The 4th on the board, the buy is going to be not that big of a hassle for them. And as Fnatic delve deep into their economy, they're still going to be left in a bit of a rough spot. They can grab an AWP. I think one player is going to be struggling for something. And yeah, JW down there on a deagle. I've avoided the off this time.
It was a bit unfortunate. I mean, you could see the idea behind it there. They didn't have any control for the afterplant, so Brolin tried to peek in towards ramp. But as soon as he went down, then they were just screwed because Golden and Crims were just stuck on the bomb site. So that was, unfortunately, a kill that was necessary. Just the Molotov, obviously, he was standing close to it, so it's actually quite hard to see through it. Right now, though, we're seeing a little bit of a different approach. Yeah, X7 decided he wanted to try and push up on short. Ends up getting completely slapped by the deagle of JW. Push also then trying to come in towards A now. Fnatic looking to try and pounce off the back of that opening that they did find around mid. And so far, not trading out too badly. Brolin actually catching the back of Sunny. That one surprised me a little bit. That gives them the chance now, if they wanted, I was going to say, to try and maybe bring it elsewhere. The issue was the bombs dropped back towards ramp. Brolin's now gone as well. And JW's actually decided to go in towards Palace. So at this point, he's playing, I guess, to see if he can try and get a couple, try and actually just get these couple kills that are required. Stepping out and retrieving a Galil, making quite a bit of noise. There's obviously a player under Palace who didn't really want to peek out immediately and risk being dropped. So they do indeed let him retrieve that bomb, but there's still probably not too much that he can do with it. They obviously heard him beginning to run back. They have a player already cutting in through underpass who'll be able to hold that apartments push. So Ariel indeed in a perfect position. JW not even taking his gun out, trying to sprint it there as quick as he could.
Yeah, he had spotted the player over towards jungle, but hadn't been seen by him, so I guess just didn't predict Alu to be underneath the wood. How could you? Ultimately, what cost him the opportunity of taking that round. With that, Fnatic end up in a position where they can't buy, where ENCE have built up a little bit of cash, and they're now looking to double that bankroll. If they survive here with all 5 players, things will look pretty damn good for them, although Sergey is on an SMG. But Fnatic coming in with just Eagles. Well, I say just Eagles. You saw what JW did with them last round. He was actually pushed into a pretty bad position. He went out mid with a bit of utility just to hold that control and maybe late push down towards connector as we've seen him do in the past. A nade came in, then a molly that pushed him out of position, so he was forced into the fight that X7 was ready for and still managed to deagle him out of this planet. Now you got 5 deagles in play. Who knows? Maybe things go your way. Nice deep nade. Actually doesn't do that much as JW, who's been an animal with the deagle, starts to move on forward. Spots out X7. Or not just yet, actually. You might have seen him as he crossed over. You certainly heard him, but his teammates are skirmishing in towards middle, and JW's hoping that means that ENCE go for a little bit of apartments aggression. If X7 does budge forward, then that should be a pretty free kill. JW tucked in the corner.
I wouldn't imagine X7's really going to get aggressive right now, though. Just because of the fact already that they, of course, do have a man advantage. They know Sergey slightly tagged up also. They know that they're up against a weaker buy. It's not needed, although this is a little bit of a risky spot. He doesn't eventually take that peek in and spot out JW and Roland, and has a very easy time just taking down those Cavalardis opponents, as you would expect. I was going to say it's a little bit dangerous if you're playing up close there. If he had a waited if all 3 players would push in at the same time, if he gets the first kill, sure, but then, of course, there always is the chance, especially against Deagles, for them to try and get that quick trade, and at that point, maybe could have overrun the bomb site. But it does work out. X7 making it look easy, and with that 6-3, I mean, ENCE, they're in a good spot right now. They could definitely still make this a 2-0 game at this point, and I definitely wasn't expecting it on Mirage. Dust 2 was kind of a map where I was like, okay, they've picked it. They're definitely going to be coming into this capable. We weren't expecting such a strong first half. They almost let it go in the second half, but they've come in here on Mirage and immediately got back into form despite actually struggling to close that previous map, so that's a good thing to see.
It absolutely is, keeping up that strong performance. To be honest, I very much count ENCE out of this series from the start. Even with the way the maps went, like we said, it didn't look... It's definitely not a good position for them overall, although there was no veto unless it included a train maybe that could have looked better for them moving into a map. But they certainly impressed us on Dust 2. That 11-4 half was undeniably dominant, and they're looking to make a very similar affair happen here on Mirage. Like we said, 6 months ago, they beat Fnatic here 16-7 on Mirage and DreamHack Malmo, but that was 6 months ago. A lot changes, and Fnatic are a very different team in the world standings than they were then. As we move in towards this buy round, number 10. Heavy stakes on the board. If ENCE can find this again, no money for Fnatic, but that isn't vice versa, as ENCE have got that bankroll built up. Alu with the opening. That helps them out a massive amount, and he's got a third, locking down short. And this is a disaster for Fnatic. So little cash in the bank. 30 seconds left. Bomb down on short. In such an important round, it looks like it's going to go to ENCE. Despite Flush's kill, they've got to make a lot happen. And Alu's looking in towards the apartments as the last player moves forward. Crims hits the floor. And 7 on the board for ENCE. What a start this has been for them. Not just in the early half, but in this half in general. They're already in a pretty good position. Now with what should be 8 on the board.
Yeah, and Alu's been performing really well. He went 23-15 back on map number 1, +8. He's up there towards the top as well right now alongside Ariel, who's also having a pretty good game. And I mean, for ENCE in general, just no one's playing bad. It was the same on the previous map. The disparity between the top and bottom fragger was only 7 kills actually looking here, but then there was 3 players ranging between 18 and 19 as well, so everyone was contributing. That's the case right now here as well on the CT side. And again, we do see one player actually having a very slow start for Fnatic, this time being Golden, who's 1-9. It was Brolin who went 1-9 back on Dust 2. So it's definitely not helping them out. I mean, yeah, it's an issue to having that one player who's always starting off slow. Obviously, Brolin did redeem himself then in that previous map we've seen once he got going was when they made it a competitive second half. But they need everyone to step up right now to push in towards B. Just the pistols, obviously, in the hands of Fnatic so far. Not really finding much success. It's one player up close on the bomb site, and he's been able to delay for a very long time. So pretty much the entire DCT force is here to try and hold this down. But hang on, the pistol's getting the dinks and the kills. It gives over a chance. Crim's expecting that axe flank as well, obviously, with Aerial already having gotten one. But unfortunately not able to connect the shots. That was winnable. I mean, they gave Crims the chance there to get the 1v1s in that 2-on-1. If he had got that quick headshot on Aerial in the apartments, the final player, then only at that point beginning to actually push out a kitchen. But ENCE do get the round, despite it being a lot closer than they would have hoped for.
Definitely on paper, that should have been a pretty convincing round for ENCE, but it does mean they take a little bit of a hit to their economy. The upside of it is they've got plenty of cash in the bank. Look at that, 12k still on Aerial after buying into this, 10.4 on Alu. They managed to save the op as well, which has obviously boosted that, or minimized their losses a little bit. And with Fnatic moving on forward, they're looking for a fast A hit. 1 minute 35 left on the clock as the smoke start to move forward. Nice opening by Sunny, though. He's cut off JW, who's been predictably coming connector every round. Sergey there with another, as they now just look to hold down passively. We saw Aerial concede any control on the side. Alu, though, doesn't expect Brolin to already be up close. And that could be the opening they need. That's significant map control that Fnatic now have in towards the CT spawn, and despite a man disadvantage, they've also managed to retrieve an op in the hands of Brolin, looking to catch the connector players off as they move forward. Aerial shows himself, and he's down. Golden with another, and all of a sudden, Fnatic are in the lead. Bomb planted, Brolin ready for that peek, and just like that, it's all over. And Fnatic pull themselves back up by their bootstraps to 4 rounds. Still, though, ENCE do have the money to buy, so it's not the end of the world for the CTs. And they are in a pretty good position. But they definitely wanted to do more damage there, Dean. I mean, look, Fnatic have still got a bit of cash in the bank. Had they have taken down an extra player or two, it would certainly look a lot more viable for them to end up on at least that double digits.
Yeah, I mean, this could still be a pretty good half for Fnatic. If they bring it back to even 6, if they could get 7 especially, at that point, then they're in a really good spot. So it's not over yet. Fnatic definitely still can recover. And that previous round was definitely down to Brolin. I mean, pushing into the spawn, having the man disadvantage, knowing that they needed some sort of control, they needed something to pull them back into the round. And as I said, he was the man on Dust 2 who was being incredibly aggressive and was finding them those openings constantly. So to see him being able to actually do it again here on Mirage now on the T side is a good thing to see. Can they replicate that performance, though? Because as you said, ENCE, they do still have a full buy. It's not over for Fnatic here yet. They need to try and get this one if they really want to start having an easier time picking up a few more rounds. And that is a big opening yet again. Sergey close ramp goes down. Now you can see Sunny, for the moment, being held off by smokes, just trying to see if maybe he can spot someone around this gap. But I don't think that's going to be possible. Molotov, though, down on Golden. Combining with the spam, maybe could have done some damage. Unfortunately, nothing really substantial at all being connected. So the bomb, it will go down. I was going to say in the 5-on-4, but Alu has managed to snatch away 1.
Brolin being sneaky. That flash doesn't fully blind him, but Sunny had his knife out trying to get over the stairs. Brolin gets a double, and Fnatic again miles ahead. Alu trying to get back out there, and despite their low HP, he's got the op. Can't really take advantage of it despite the first kill. Time is low, and as he moves on forward, he spots another. Has to go in for the defuse now. Smoke dropped. Flush has got to dive down there and try to shut him out. He missed the spray at the start, but eventually connects it. Despite it coming kind of close and Flush it dying in the end, Fnatic are up on 5 rounds.
Again, Brolin just doesn't care. He was, what, 9 health there? Got flashed in through the stairs, ran down, ended up catching the first player off guard, and somehow got a second. That was more so what surprised me. Nice try by Alu, though, as well on the retake. As I said, though, now with that, the economy of ENCE finally has been kind of run down into an awkward spot. They've still gone for the buy and got what they can here, but it's not great. I mean, they have 2 M4s, they have 2 MP9s, a scout in play, and it looks like they do want to go for something a little bit more crazy. Just going to push straight up mid, and again, Brolin just straight up short, so he's actually going to bypass a couple of them. Unfortunately, his teammate's not going to be able to do the same, so we do see ENCE actually finding some opening picks. They had no idea, I don't think, that Brolin was up short. What a shot! How the hell does Alu hit that? Gets another as well. Follows up for the second headshot on Flusha. Was he still mid-air when he got that first kill? It literally just swapped to him. Yeah, I wasn't sure because it swapped to him swapped to Alu while he was in mid-air. And I just seen the kill come up. I was very confused.
I think he just landed on the window ledge, but even still, that's just nasty. Using it in such a skirmish playstyle. 9 on the board. ENCE, Fnatic, not a great buy. I talked about ENCE not looking likely to hit double digits, but it looks like they've got something else to say about it. No op to play with. At least that's an upside for Fnatic. They've got utility as well. Looking for the mid control with 4 players. Sunny might move above this smoke to try and help out on any sort of control here. That Molly's going to miss it as well. They're not going to check close right. Not for now. Nades going through Molly's as well, but Sunny's completely undetected in such an aggressive position against this kind of a buy. This could be dangerous for him. He's got to find those kills as they move on through. Swinging out a little bit wider to try and, not leave, in fact. Forcing him even further, and he finds the kill, but it's time to leave. JW is going to push as soon as this smoke fades, but in comes Alu to save the day, and great mid control by ENCE. A 4 versus 2, and the bomb left on top mid with no way to really get down it. That's nasty by Sunny onto Flusha, spraying away with the pre-fire as he had to leave from the molly, and Crims, he's been on top mid this whole round, and he hasn't seen a single enemy.
Just chilling.
And not killing.
To see if anything will come his way. Yeah, not killing. Well, I wouldn't include killing in chilling. If you're killing, you're probably not chilling, you know?
That is true.
Here we go. Oh, almost managed to actually get that. Must have heard the little jump up on the ledge. But unfortunately, as we would expect in a 1-on-4 for Crims, which is the Deagle, he isn't really able to get anything done. 10-5. You said ENCE weren't going to hit double digits. You definitely jinxed it, so they do hit double digits. All the Fnatic fans can go ahead and tweet at Mitchman and say thank you for jinxing it. But it's still doable. Fnatic, they had a poor first half back on the previous map as well. They were able to then bring it back relatively decently. That was actually when they only had 4 rounds as well. And that obviously was on the CT side of Dust 2, I believe, that they were only able to get the 4 rounds. They then started coming back on their T side. Now they're on the CT and Mirage. Maybe they can get going here as well. Shows a similar performance. My issue is, though, that Brolin right now is actually performing really well. He's 14-11. He was the man that we needed to step up in the last one because we did have other players, including Flushit and such, actually fragging relatively well. Now no one is apart from Brolin. So that is just not good enough. Crims has had his moments. I mean, Flush has had a couple of rounds as well, but overall, they're not really stepping up to the level that we expect of them, which is not the case for ENCE when we have Alu on 16, Sunny on 15, Ariel on 13, and then both X7 and Sergey also on 8 kills each, contributing when it's needed.
Having that nice tight performance is certainly going to help you when you move over towards the T side as well. If everybody's fragging, then here you come. We've already seen from ENCE that their terrorist side can be a little bit scary when it comes towards the more pug-orientated maps, and even one that Fnatic were very comfortable on. Mirage, I'm not saying that it's a bad map for them, but so far it's been a damn disappointment. And both of their first halves have as well. They've had it on CT and T now. 4 rounds on Dust 2, 5 rounds on Mirage. I mean, I know we say that each of these maps are like, if you're going to make a comeback happen, Dust 2, Mirage, they're probably the places that are going to be more forgiving to having a weaker start, especially if it is the CT side. You know, if you're playing a train and you get 4 rounds CT side, well, yeah, good luck. But at least here, it's a little bit more open as to how one-sided or defense or offense-sided it can be. There's different interpretations by different teams, very puggy, but I mean, 5 just isn't enough. Realistically, it shouldn't be, certainly not with how we've seen ENCE play so far on the aggression.
Yeah, I mean, 5 is all right in itself, but as you said, with just how ENCE have been playing, it's definitely worrying. But yeah, no, I'd say on Mirage, normally 6 rounds is kind of what you're aiming for on that T side. If you get that, you feel good enough. It's not like a great half. It's not a terrible half. That's normally where you feel relatively comfortable. A bit different the back on Dust 2, where I think it can kind of flip which side you kind of have favor, just because it is a bit of a more even map. It kind of depends on who really gets momentum going. As I said, there's not too many options for swapping things up. But here on Mirage, anyway, I don't think Fnatic's done too terrible of a job. I mean, ENCE getting 10 on their CT side, rather, something they can feel comfortable with. As I said, 9 on their CT side and 6 for Fnatic would have been kind of the middle ground where we're like, okay, both teams have a decent half here and it could go either way. So I don't think 5 is the worst. But of course, we do have to find out as we come into the second half now, as the pistol is about to go live. And if Fnatic don't pick up this pistol, that's when they're really in trouble.
That's it, really. You can't let it slip away. There's this small possibility that the second round could see a little bit of a bounce back, but that's more so when you're on the T side, right? And you're getting a bomb plant in the pistol. Then you can bounce back into round 2 and really dominate. But right here, if Fnatic lose the pistol, things kind of do start to fall apart for them slowly but surely. Not even slowly, quite quickly. In fact, with 5 rounds on the board, there's not a lot of room for error moving into this half. They want to start it with a little bit of dominance. Let's see if they can do it here on the defense. Their Dust 2 was underwhelming when it came to the CT side, but in just 10 seconds, we're going to get to see what they've got to work with. 0 utility, zilch for the CT side. More importantly, no kit. So they cannot allow this bomb to go down. They've got to be winning heads-up aim duels, and so far that's been something that's kind of missing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been moments we've seen it from Fnatic, as you do, of course, know all of these players are more than capable, but they need it right now in this pistol round if they want to start making that comeback a reality. And right now, at least, they do have a relatively decent setup around mid, with players pushed up around the ladder room, window, and connector. Unfortunately, though, all trying to face not really with each other either. It allows ENCE to just take some easy frags. A couple of headshots already being found. At this point, they've gone ahead and got a couple players up through short, and the B-bomb site is completely open. I believe they've sent the bomb actually back through under so that it wouldn't risk being taken down. And they even have a lurker. Sergey, we've seen him back on Dust 2 as well, always being the man who'd be probing around the opposite bomb site, just making sure that he's always a nuisance. The issue is they don't clear short at all. Flush it allowed to just tap away for ages with that USP and find 2. And how is this happening? Fnatic are recovering it. It's suddenly fallen all onto Sergey, and they know he's back towards that A bomb site, and Crims just wrecks him. What the hell?
Well, listen, you don't need a kid if you don't let them plant. Simple
It took
as.
way too long to react to Flusher, though.
Well, hey, look, maybe they were understanding of the series we've got here. They know it should be a tight, competitive one from start to finish. If it's not Fnatic 2-0ing, it should really be a nice, meaty best of 3. And I just want to give them a chance, you know? Put on a show. Why not? That's probably not it, but...
Yeah, no, probably
I want
not.
to give them an excuse, you know?
I don't know. I guess they just didn't realize where they were getting shot from. It was obviously a USB, but it just took a while for anyone to really look back towards short. I mean, the first 2 players he killed, I believe, neither of them looked at him, and I'm pretty sure he was shooting for a good while. So it was a bit of a strange round, but for this one anyway, we do expect it to be pretty straightforward for Fnatic. Up against only, at this point, 2 upgraded P250s and then 2 Glocks, with already 1 kill being found around mid. And it seems like ENCE already haven't actually lost that 1 player in mid. Just all going to group up back towards the A side of the map. They have 1 player in Palace, 3 of them towards ramp. And the goal here being to try and get the bomb down, maybe get a couple of kills if they can. But Mirage is a very difficult map to do that on, if you don't have any utility especially.
Oh, look at the spray coming in from Brawl, and it's just easy money, really. Yeah, you're only up against pistols, so it's not like Brawlin's the best player in the world because he made the play, but it's all about that cash dollar. And he's gotten a hell of a reward for the UMP he's bought. Winning up that round, closing in the gap on ENCE. The question is, how are they going to play this one? You're already seeing decent investment coming in. You've got an AWP in play. Do the SMGs upgrade, or at least does Brawlin? You're already investing on Crims, on JW, down to the point that they're not going to have cash, so... I think realistically, I would like to see Brawlin with a rifle just to ease over that gap, but okay.
As you said, yeah, Crims and JW would both be double eco, I guess, in the next round, though, so it would still allow them to get 1 or 2 rifles out on the other players. But yeah, I probably would have preferred if Brawlin maybe gave the UMP to Gold and went for an M4 himself, and then overall they just would have had a bit of a stronger buy. But this is still a very winnable investment they have here, especially if they do get it. At that point, then they're allowed to build up a lot of money, upgrade those players anyway, off of the weapons from the ENCE players, get some AKs. So it always is an opportunity, but right now it's actually just going to be a quick B play coming in. Flush it again playing from short, this time of course having the M4 and Molotov underneath the window to make it a little bit harder for them to try and advance forward, as they can't drop out the window itself. Instead forced to go through balcony, but again, Sunny actually this time will be able to get the trade. At least the Molotov is perfect. He actually gets Brolin in the background. That was not the man he was aiming for, but he will take it. Now it is, again, a decent spot for ENCE to be in, but JW just holding has eventually gifted himself a kill. It's Crims and JW. The bomb, of course, yet to be planted. Both players just kind of hidden in towards the bench, waiting to see where Crims is coming from, because for the moment, they don't know his position.
Looks like they'll get a plant now after just poking forward a little bit. It's going to be nice and safe in the corner. This is really the only option when you've only got 1 guy backing you up. And you especially don't want to be extending out to try and find that control. Looks like we're going to be having both players coming in from over towards short. I don't know, with JW's movement for a second, I wasn't sure if he thought it was A or not, but They're now looking towards B. Two-man short push coming through, up holding from far back. Crims has to skirmish up close and clear these angles. That smoke might even bait a peek to come through and a potential pick for JW. He knows there's probably someone around bench, but has to take the M4 for the closer range skirmish as they move forward. Crims spots one from behind, but he's taken down from bench. And Alu finishing off that round with the kill to put them on 11. They did suffer pretty significant losses, though, so you can see at the moment, even though they won the round, ENCE can't afford to fully buy up, at least not with AKs and utility and armor. And Fnatic, they've got a decision to make. I mean, they had that money stacked up on Brawlin from before. He buys an AWP, and M4 comes through on both Flusha and Golden. And it is going to be a force buy from the CTs.
Yeah, this was kind of the positive, of course, of not investing into both Brolan and Golden in that previous round, instead letting them keep the SMGs. They get a little bit to work with in this round. Obviously, there's still some players who are stuck on the very weak weapons because of the double eco, but overall, it is a relatively decent investment, especially with how it stacks up to that of ENCE's. Theirs isn't perfect either. The issue is now for Fnatic that they have lost a player already. Flusha trying to see what he could find by getting aggressive up short in the beginning, gets taken down. Crims was smoked off towards Connector, so he wasn't really able to help out. And ENCE, without even taking any damage, get themselves that advantage and are now beginning to set themselves up for what is going to be an A split. Although, at the moment, I believe that's JW who was pushed all the way through Palace. So if they try and send anyone here, he could maybe steal away a weapon. And at that point, just be a massive nuisance. There's two of them, though. Perfect. I was afraid they'd send one player Palace.
On fourth we go. Brawlin's going to be the only one here to really stand the test of time. Once those smokes come over and block them off, you would hope. ENCE just barreling forward, taking fights. Fair enough. They know there's an AWP down now towards CT. Smoke's in play. He's going up above it. No one's checking for it. This could be dangerous. Hello and goodbye as Sergey falls. Brawlin falls back. They can wait now. Let those smokes fade and go for the fights afterwards. I don't know if they know where Sunny is, though. I know they've spotted the player in Palace and the one on site, but Sunny, as of yet, I don't know if he's made noise, and that could be a very defining part of the round. He swings out, the player's already dead. At least he takes Brawlin. And Crims has no way out. He was already pushed forward in CT to help Brawlin with the AWPing aggression. Well handled by ENCE. I think Sunny, even being in connector, even if they don't win the fight onto jungle and they lose a player, he was really the contingency plan. Probably would have found the 2K with Brawlin already being low. It was fairly well secured.
This is the issue now. That's the problem with Fnatic having had such a poor half, despite being able to actually get the opening pistol round and get the anti-eco off the back of it as well. As soon as they lose that opening gun round, immediately the scoreline again begins to look a little bit ridiculous for ENCE. They have a 12-7 lead, probably going to be 13-7. I mean, let's be real, it's 1 P250 in this round for Crims. They have at least taken a little bit of a gamble with that stack over towards A, and in the meantime, I do believe that is JW who's pushing through under. Probably not going to find too much, though. If he decides to go forward, X7 is holding it. Maybe if he goes a little bit later, he could catch the time. And the issue is, already one player's walked out on the B. That's Aerial. He had a Mach 10. He was like, okay, I'll scout the bomb site. At this point, he has found out no one's there, and they've even found that player who was lurking in under. So this round's pretty much over. I don't think much can be done. Maybe they can set themselves up for a few exit frags to try to do some damage, and if possible, steal some weapons for this next round, because they're only getting $2,400 on the side of Fnatic. Their buy is still going to be pretty limited. And right now, Aerial is just looking to try and build up bank, and he may be given the chance to actually do so, because there was another player in the CT spawn. As I say that, he decides to go back to window instead.
ENCE have really blown me away this series. I wasn't expecting such a strong contention, never mind the fact that they're actually ahead by a significant amount now, 13-7. Again, it's something I've said before, but their T side was really good on Dust, so I don't feel like this is just early game like we can see a lot of times. I mean, you and I have cast a lot of games, Dean, where a team maybe gets ahead, you know, 7-0, and it ends up 8-7. Because they're winning out the pistol, the force buy, then there's 2 ecos scattered in there, and really, they've just won 2 full buys, and they're 7-0 up. But that doesn't feel like the situation we're in right now. Fnatic have been contesting, they've been finding opening deals, they've been putting themselves ahead, and then ENCE consistently across Dust 2 and this map are fighting out in the later stages. And that's really not what you want to be seeing. Well, I guess it depends which team you're a fan of.
Yeah, I mean, in general, you just want to see good CS. If you're not being biased towards a team anyway, you do always want to see the best quality CS. Well, yeah, well, mostly. Sometimes the crazy CS can be a little bit fun to watch as well. That CIS stuff.
Exactly, I was going to say.
But right now, it's just kind of slipping away from Fnatic. I like that at least this one they've gone for, again, a little bit of a gamble. Something different as well, actually. Putting the player in window 1 then up close to the short wall who's watching the underpass and who can then help towards top mid if needed. And it works out for them to find that 2-man advantage. They've restricted ENCE from getting that mid control, which so far has been a big issue. They've been using that to split onto the bomb sites to leave lurkers who can slow rotations. And as I said before, just be a nuisance, a thorn in the side. And this is looking like a very convincing round so far from Fnatic. Can any damage at least be done here by the remaining ENCE players is the question. Make it somewhat worthwhile. That is ballsy from Flush It, but it works out perfectly. And that's what you need. If you're gonna get your round back in to start building up, you do want all 5 players surviving. That gives them a perfect chance now. They'll have everything they need in this round.
Well, exactly. That's been the issue for Fnatic so far. Never really gaining control over their economy on their CT side, whether it's Dust 2 or whether it's here. Now they have the opportunity to have a little bit of a buffer, but it also does rely on them finding this one if they want to have some sort of safety net. ENCE are on 13. They cannot allow anything further to go towards them before they find a couple, and there's an opening duel by Alu to further cement ENCE's dominance in this series. Considering the fact that so far, Sunny is 6 for 2 in opening duels, I think. He's been insanely dominant in finding those early fights. We haven't actually seen Fnatic be able to challenge either Alu or Sunny. As we go towards middle, okay, Brawlin pulling that one back at least helps a little bit, but they're already out on the A-bomb side, and as Brawlin tries to come back up connector, he's got a welcoming party, but not the kind he was looking for. The bomb is down in top mid, and X7 has to go and get it. Those steps are heard by Golden, and in just a second, now he knows it's not actually up underpass to B. He knows they're committing A. He's holding the angle, but he misses the shot. Alu in with another. A flash down to just stop JW from pushing, get himself an angle towards jungle, and X7 will be in here in a flash. Sergey's got CT being held, so all they really have to worry about is stairs, but actually, JW might be in a decent position to put this bomb carrier off. As he goes up on top. X7's there, but he misses the shot. How do you found that? Alu's low, can't really afford to trade. Time gets low as well. And maybe it works out for him. But with that failing, 14-8, Fnatic down to what could well be their final buy for this series. And they'd be forced into a forced buy for the final round. The timeout, I think, is amply timed.
Even then, this isn't going to be a perfect buy. Obviously, they're going to go for it. Can't really afford to take an eco at this point. But getting the rifles out, if they want to get rifles on everyone, they'll have very few nades. Probably maybe like a smoke or two, maybe a couple of flashes as well. So they definitely need to go with some weaker weapons. And you can see Golden is the first man to be willing to actually sacrifice down, as is Brolin. That's an interesting one because he's currently top fragging by a pretty decent margin. He's been the man having a lot of impact, more so back on the first half, but even then here on the CT side, he's still been having those rounds. We've seen him with the UMP spray downs and such earlier. But yeah, this just wasn't what I was expecting coming into the series. I was thinking we were probably going to see the 3-map series after Just 2 went away events, especially with Fnatic making it such a close game. It's surprising that ENCE have come in now on Fnatic's map pick and just being like, yeah, no, we're going to dominate you.
ENCE are looking to just push straight through to the A-bomb site, and this is so poorly timed for Fnatic. Brawlin's the only player here. Everyone else is focused towards that early mid control. Brawlin's already challenged, luckily not taken down. The nade dropped. Great opening duel for him. Low HP on Sunny, who's also taken down. He can't do more, but his teammates come in to save the day. X7 spraying away, but all of a sudden it's a 2v2. How have things flipped out of control for Fnatic? Brawlin with such a good A defense. Alu's holding on the op. Golden needs to be careful about peeking this. He can't afford to dry peek it, but he's got no utility, and his teammates nowhere nearby. Alu pushing slowly down towards CT. A move's going to have to be made eventually, and Alu's checking the corner. He's got the kill, and it's all down to Flush It. He has to go for this on 14-8. His chances of winning are quite low. The flash perfect as well. X7 doesn't really want to peek here on 18 health. Especially with Alu having that off in a 1v1, it's not ideal. Smoke goes down, and Flusha caught with a nade in hand. He makes it over, drops a flash, goes up on top. Oh, Alu, no, he's killed his teammate, but there's no time. There's none at all. Alu wants to knife him to death. He can't get it done and has given them an op. If Flusha makes it away, 55 HP? Yeah, just about. What a wild round. Alu team killing, trying to knife him to death. 15-8, a free op for Fnatic, but sadly they're going to have to use it to find 7 rounds in a row, which just doesn't seem too likely, Dean.
Yeah, that was a mad round all around. Conspiracy theory. Alu naded him on purpose so he could go for the knife. He was like, don't steal my kill.
Well, I can't blame them if they want revenge. JW's knife on Dust 2 has to be answered, and they're 1 for 1 right now.
True. Actually, I forgot about that one when he was trapped up on short. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think ENCE care too much, though, considering they are just about to take the series for themselves. It's 15-8. We need Fnatic to take 7 rounds in a row so that they can fight for an overtime here on Mirage, and then they still need to bring it onto Inferno and get the win there if they want to get this series. So this is an extremely long road ahead of Fnatic that, unfortunately, I don't think is paved well enough for them to even really get going on it. They do have an op, at least. It's in the hands of Flusha right now.
And JW's not trusted. He's a knife expert. He has been doing very well in the Deagle, though, in all fairness. This is just a pretty damn rough situation to have to clutch it all the way back in. Nades out mid, don't yield a lot. Fnatic just backing off now, sitting down towards a 2-2 with 1 in middle. AKA the 2-1-2. I don't know why I said it in such a weird way. Look at this. And the first time I think we've seen them go for this just 4-man connector rush with only Sergey sitting down on A ramp to push out there a little bit later on.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice for it to be so heavily focused on mid. With that, it means, of course, they can still really bring it anywhere at this point. They are trying to feel out what exactly is going on with the defense, but now beginning again to approach a true connector. No nades at all, just playing off a contact, and Crims actually finds 3 with the FAMAS. Nearly able to do a little bit more damage onto Alu. It's JW instead on the flank who should finish that one off. And indeed, that is the case. It's all on Sergey as he's been somehow dropped into a 1-on-3. And despite getting that first kill, I don't expect much more. Flusha already posted up there from short with the op as well, ready to finish that one off. But it's still 6 more rounds that are needed. That's the start. Great round from Crims, obviously, as well. A little bit of perhaps confidence going over to Fnatic in general, especially as this round here should be a little bit more of an easy one. So we should reach them. We should see them reach double digits rather before we have ENCE again coming out with a full buy.
You know what's actually quite bad for ENCE here? If Alu hadn't have naded his teammate and then died and given them the op, Fnatic wouldn't have an op. Now, they only got the 1 kill from it, so let's maybe scrap that. But also, ENCE would have much more money because they wouldn't have had to invest onto those 2 players. Because if you remember the position, I can't remember who was with Alu, but he was up on, X7, right? He was up on top of the box and had been completely ignored. So he would have found that kill from above. I would put 99% accuracy on that. And then those 2 players survive. So one little mistake and it cost them 10k.
Mistake? I mean, that's how some people see it. Again, Mitch, my conspiracy theory is that he just wanted the knife so he naded his teammate.
Again, equally possible.
Yeah, definitely. That's like 50-50. ENCE, though, I don't know how worried they're going to be quite yet. Overall, they've been looking really good. So I think kind of this round here, of course, having invested a decent amount. I'm surprised they invested so much because they still can't buy in the next round. This one, I guess their goal is just to get a few kills, keep the economy low for Fnatic, and then when they do eventually come back onto their guns, be able to just kind of hopefully go up against the Fnatic with a couple of weaker weapons in play. But that's not really going to be the case because still 3 players are going to survive here, so Fnatic can easily buy back up. Flush It and JW could buy for themselves. They'll likely just be given rifles so they can get nades, obviously. Although JW being given back the op as you would expect. But yeah, no, that was a weird round. I really don't know what the goal was. ENCE needed a bomb plant for that to be worthwhile, and even then, Sunny and Sergey still would have been a bit short on actually being able to invest into this round. So it leaves them in a spot where they just have to go ahead and take the eco here now. I guess they probably would have been a little bit short maybe on a couple players anyway coming into this round, but either way, tough spot. Full investment or no investment in my opinion. Yeah, they've left A.
Yeah, they've been doing this a lot though. Fnatic, we've seen 4 rounds now in a row where they've been focused on mid control, which is good unless it's not. When ENCE overwhelm the bomb site, okay, never mind. They get the bomb plants, at least 1 kill. Hey, it's not the worst in the world. But we
Yeah,
saw
they
that.
have smokes. That's the issue. If they had smokes, they could lock them out of bomb site.
Absolutely. What I was going to say in the previous round, and at the end of it, and sadly, ENCE kind of beat me to it, was I wonder if at this point they start to get a read on the heavy control Fnatic were going for. Because as I said, 4 rounds in a row, we've seen them at least have a player deep connector and window with just the one player either towards tall box or CT holding by himself. Indeed, we even saw Brawlin under wood, completely isolated from his teammates. At that point, a smoke execute through with a molly going down in sandwich and a bench, and you're guaranteed a 5v1 when you push into the bomb site. At this time, though, Fnatic start to patch up that and realize that maybe it's not the best idea to be that readable. Have their 2 players on the A bomb site looking for early ramp aggression and continuing forward, giving Sergey a possible opportunity, in fact.
Yeah, he's not really going to be peeking in himself, as you said, just waiting to see if anyone from Fnatic will potentially push forward. But, I mean, eventually he may look to do a little bit. For the moment, though, ENCE, their main focus being around mid, and indeed he actually does decide to take a little bit of a peek there, so Brawlin has a free kill. I figured he would probably wait a little bit longer before trying to do anything, just because his teammates are only now towards the top of mid. He also had a teammate who was beginning to back off from Palace who maybe could have helped them. Instead, now Alu is on his own, trying to recover this control if they do want to actually try and still bring this towards an A split, if that was the initial goal, which looked like it was the case. Probably no longer going to be too much of an option for them, considering they have fully lost that ramp control and they've been forced to just retreat away from it now. So I guess the goal is see what they can find around mid, see if Fnatic are going to give them any openings. And it's most likely going to be brought onto B. I like this. It's only actually golden on the bomb site itself right now.
Well, he's found one at least. Ariel's low, so there's a second. Looking to window for more. And Golden with a quick triple to keep Fnatic alive. This is now starting to get a little bit spooky from a position where ENCE are confident enough to nade their teammates and look for knife kills. Fnatic, they've not really put their foot on the brakes at all. They're smashing that accelerator. Just like the people in chat should be smashing follow on the stream, ring that little bell, drop a sub, and whatever the other things are. Comment. You can't really comment, can you? You have to chat. I don't know. We've let it go too far now, Dean. Maybe ENCE have let this go too far as well. They've only got the pistols. And going
it's possible that.
I like the fast array approach again, but let's see how Fnatic deal with this. 2 players close ramp yet again, up against a fast pistol rush. This could go very bad.
Yeah, getting completely destroyed as they try and push out. Apologies, sorry. Family members coming in, always the horrible times. But X7, I was going to say, shouldn't really have too much hope here. Surprisingly, Flusha pushed forward. His other teammates obviously been held off by smoke, so they're not really able to do anything about helping him out on the trade. Initially, both players then trying to fight it as well. And X7, if he had a few more bullets in that M4, I think probably would have had that one, because he had JW pinned in the corner. Unfortunately, once you had to swap to the Tech 9, obviously not having the same range and the same lethal accuracy, as he does go down. Close round, though, considering ENCE only had pistols in that one. I think Fnatic are definitely going to be a little bit worried. Again, ENCE definitely know what way Fnatic are beginning to approach that A bomb site. In that round, almost being able to catch the players who were aggressive on ramp and then cut off the rotations with the smokes. It gave them that chance to take over the bomb site. Have I disconnected completely, or is it just my GoTV?
I think it's just your GoTV. I'm all good.
Okay, I'm good now. My GoTV is back.
Okay. A little bit of lag. It happens. It happens. But Dean, this is it. I mean, ENCE, they've got their full buy, they've got their AWP, their utility, everything they could possibly hope to work with, and Fnatic looking to take this to an overtime, and it's very possible. I mean, ENCE were confident beyond belief, and now I think maybe starting to get a little bit of a shake. Good shot by JW with that same AWP. A man advantage now for the CT side, and they're not looking shaken at all. Happy to give up even window control. And bottom mid. Play towards the bomb sites. JW goes back in there, actually, just to take a little bit of a look, knowing the molly will stop them pushing. And ENCE looking to navigate their way in towards the A bomb site. JW has a decision to make on where he goes. Looks like he's sticking down in the window just to make sure jungle is secure. They've got connector, but they've just lost Crims. Connector control is gone, and on the bomb site now, Brawlin's getting a little bit scared. He's having to back off to CT, and if ENCE use their smokes here to get themselves out onto this bomb, or their smoke, excuse me, it's actually only Ariel that has one. They should be able to cross over fairly safely. JW on the pistol to open it. The bomb should make it to site. In fact, even further, Alu's got a second kill. Sergey pushed up close. It's free, and it's all down to Golden to find himself 3.
Yeah, I mean, he had this long flank. If his teammates maybe were able to survive a little bit longer, perhaps it could have been something that he could have actually done some work with, but being left alone immediately, you do see ENCE as well reacting, okay, he's taking a while. Let's have a check around ramp, see if he's trying to flank us out. They get ready for the double